the non-woke commentariat on YouTube and on the internet are really ecstatic, and as they should be, that Mario has not gone broke simply because it refused to go woke. But they all seem to be missing the fact that it is still incredibly feminist. Let's actually discuss the difference between being woke and feminist. And at the end, I'm still going to recommend the movie. It was still a good movie. I'm still thankful it made money. But I think it's important for us to actually understand the ideologies that are shaping these things. Let's dive into it. Welcome to Unsafe Media. My name is Ryan Martin. I help you respond with wisdom and virtue to the ideas that are shaping our age and help you, in this art series, discern the philosophy that inspire the art that we put before ourselves as well as our kids. Now, as a parental review, let's definitely go through the most common basic stuff. First off, there's almost no profanity, a couple uses of stupid or idiot, and they're done so by bad guys. So obviously castigated as an incorrect use of language. It's got a good use of violence in that it's used for valor. It's not gratuitous. It's not bloody, but it is actual violence. It's not just the chintzy little net gun of, say, like a Paw Patrol or something like that. There's no sexuality to it whatsoever. There's also not like a random underwear shot or random butt in the middle of nowhere. And in a healthy society, that stuff would be played for laughs. But of course, with shows like this and like this, we know that we're in a culture where they're trying to normalize intentionally certain types of behavior. So of course, you're not crazy for not wanting them to put in random underwear shots or butt shots. So let's jump into the philosophy of it. First off, it is not woke, and that's important to recognize. That's huge. We should celebrate that for sure. Woke should be used precisely. It should not be everything that's liberal, everything that's right of or left of center. That's not what woke is. Woke is a very specific form, and it is the most dominant form of leftist ideology right now. It is rooted in neo-Marxism. It's rooted in critical theory. Essentially, to be woke is to be awakened. Awakened to what? What have you come to realize? It's the structural dynamics of the nation and the country and society and the world that basically forces people into either the category of the oppressed or the oppressor. Now, none of that comes through in this movie. That's not even touched on once. So we can throw that in the heap. It is not that you can't criticize a movie in any sense for that. In fact, because it rejected that worldview, it is actually a very good movie. Let me highlight some of the benefits or the positives. First off, Mario has a classic hero's journey. He has some positive qualities, but he's very small. He's very weak. He is not always the wisest. He tends to rush into situations. And through the movie, he grows not only in his physical abilities, but he also grows as a person. Very much a Captain America kind of story. He's a small guy who's got big heart, and then he finally gets the skills or the abilities to match his heart. Now, let's discuss how it's feminist, but not woke. Keep in mind that the first, 75% of the Marios, maybe 3 out of 4, are just about her being kidnapped, Princess Peach being kidnapped, and then Mario going off and rescuing her. He doesn't help her or save her or do anything for her one time in the entire movie. Even whenever he comes to save her towards the end of the movie, she actually saves herself, and then he shows up after the fact. She is the nearly classic Mary Sue. She's overpowered, perfect in every way. That's actually incredibly unhealthy for little girls. They aren't built up by seeing perfect representations of women that have no room for growth and are never in danger and have no need of any men. There's this one throwaway line where she's teaching him how to go through the obstacle course, and he said, she's trying to encourage him because he keeps blowing it, and she says something to the effect of, but it takes all of us a bunch of tries. And he goes, you got it on the first try, didn't you? She goes, yeah. That's silliness. That's foolishness. That's not helpful. But it's also not like we have to have her be a passive character in the story where she's just being kidnapped and trotted along, and then she does nothing until Mario shows up and saves the day. It's perfectly fine for her to be, a playable character, for her to be somebody who shapes and impacts the plot. But we don't want the idea to be perpetuated that the woman essentially isn't ever in danger, or that she has no need of men, or that she has no room for growth. Here's actually be a really perfect way to take the whole movie as it actually was and make a couple of tiny little changes, and then you would have actually had a much more healthy message for the girls and a healthy message for the boys as well. Here's going to be a spoiler for towards the end of the movie. If you actually really care about that before you go into it, you can just skip to the conclusion chapter in this video. So Bowser is in love with her. He's trying to get her to marry him, and she realizes that she has to in order to protect her people. Now, here's how they could have pitched it. Where she comes in, guns blazing, all the power-ups, and it's her against the army. and then she, say, gets powered down, she gets hit or whatever, and she loses her abilities, and then she just realizes that there's no way for her to actually overcome this entire army, and so she has to make an actual self-sacrifice, that all of her greatness and all of her perfection, all of her powers, they are for naught. Pure power will not get her the outcome that she's looking for, but the greater good can only be accomplished by self-sacrifice. So she doesn't pretend to marry Bowser, but she actually says, yes, I in fact will marry him because this is how I protect my people. And then this would be not only a good lesson for her and a good lesson for boys and girls, that self-sacrifice is frequently more important than simply power, but it's also a fundamentally feminine message, right? You don't have to become a man to save the day. Your contributions are not only measured in your similitude to masculinity. And then that would give Mario a chance to, say, come in and not necessarily save the whole day, but in the same way that right at the very end of the movie, he's about to be blasted by Bowser, and Peach flying side kicks Bowser out of the scene, out of the frame. This could be sort of Mario's chance to do something very similar. She's already taught him everything he knows. He could simply jump in at the last second, stop bring in the forces, stop the wedding, and then she can go right back to using all of her abilities and powers to fight for her kingdom again. That would preserve both her active participation in pushing the plot forward, but also give Mario a chance to be somewhat productive or chivalrous or a saving in some sort of masculine way. And it's really important that we teach and inculcate into boys, or inculturate is the word I was looking for, into boys this idea that one of your greatest duties is to use your God-given strengths, abilities, testosterone, your drive in the service of protecting those who can't protect themselves. This would have been a fantastic way to eliminate this sort of weird girls are perfect, girl power, girl boss nonsense that we hear so much from Hollywood. All right, so all that said, I actually do recommend this movie. I think it's fantastic. It's very light. There's very little drama or seriousness to it, but you don't have to. You can go and enjoy a movie like that without having to worry about really poisonous ideologies. This is a very small nitpick. I just think it's important. How can you kind of balance this, though? Read good books with your kids. Read Narnia. Read the older books, because you will get a healthier picture of what the nature of male versus female virtue looks like from those books, because they were written in saner times. All right, that's it for today. Jump in the comment section and tell me what you thought of the movie. What would you give it out of 5? 4 stars out of 5, 4.5, 3.5. What would you do? Now, I'm Ryan Martin, and this is Unsafe Media. Make sure you like, you share, you subscribe, you jump on the Patreon. And until next time, I'm reminding you to trust in God and keep your powder dry.